was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him, and thronged him. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing better, but rather grew worse, when she had heard of Jesus, came and pressed behind, and touched his garment. For she said, If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, and said, Who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, Thou seest a multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. And the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. A synagogue official named Jairus requested Jesus to come and heal his daughter who was dying. As Jesus was journeying to his house, a desperate woman in the multitude touched the Lord. She had been bleeding for 12 years and had gone to many doctors and spent all of her money, but had only worsened. She thought that by touching Jesus, she could be healed. Sure enough, when she touched Jesus' coat, she could sense that the flow of blood immediately dried up, and she was well. Suddenly, Jesus asked who had touched him. The disciples thought it was a strange question, since there was a huge crowd thronging Jesus. Many had touched him, but the woman knew what Jesus meant. Terrified, she came forward and confessed. Jesus reassured her, saying that her faith had made her well. Note, why did Jesus embarrass the woman? Obviously, the woman with the bleeding was hoping to avoid publicity. She didn't make her presence known, but silently touched Jesus' clothes, and she was healed. Then Jesus put her on the spot by asking who touched him. She was trembling as she admitted what she had done. Why did he draw attention to this shy lady? Perhaps there's two reasons. One, if he had not, the woman had believed that she had been healed by some sort of magic associated with Jesus' clothes. He wanted her to know that he had consciously healed her. Many touched his clothes and were not healed. She was healed by the will of the Lord. 2, if Jesus had allowed her to leave thinking she had stolen the healing, her conscience might later trouble her. By publicly identifying her, he was able to comfort and encourage her, telling her to go in peace. How long did the woman have her problem of bleeding? The answer, she had her problem of bleeding for 12 years. Number 11, how has she tried to get well previously? Answer, she spent all of her money on physicians. 12, when was the woman with the bleeding healed? A, she was not healed. B, when she believed on Jesus. C, when she asked him to heal her. D, when she touched Jesus' clothes. The answer is D. She was healed when she touched Jesus' clothes. Number 13. How did the rest of the multitude find out Jesus' miracle? Answer, he asked who had touched him, and the woman confessed. Okay?